Yeah. Hi, my name is Ranjit Kumar. I'm an assistant professor of CSE, Samudra Institute of Technology for Women. Uh, Today topic is day one topic is introduction Internet of Things with the Raspberry Pi. So, what are the contents we are going to uh, discuss today? These are the content we are going to discuss today. The first one is introduction to IoT. Okay, what is IoT and how it is innovated and what way it is enhanced from starting level to top level, and what are the applications of IoT and where we are using the IoTs and how we are using the IoTs in different applications. And the next is introduction to Raspberry Pi to designing IoT solutions. Okay. And the next is how we are set up a Raspberry Pi. That is a basic setup of Raspberry Pi and both hardware and software setups. And the next is Python program because whatever the IoT projects we are going to discuss hands-on session in the coming last 2 days of TEDP, that is by using of Python programming itself only. So we have to learn the Python, the basic things of Python, how we are designing a program to run a Python and IoT, and what are the structure of Python programming, what are the components we are using, what are the statements, how we are designing a statements of a Python programming language, and then followed by the Raspberry Pi accessories. We have additional accessories apart from the Raspberry Pi kit. What are the additional accessories which are used in a IoT design? Okay, that is belongs to Raspberry Pi accessories. And the last topic is IoT demo with the projects. We have a set of projects. We are going to discuss, we are going to demonstrate those projects last 2 days as a hands-on session, which includes the setup of Raspberry Pi. So this is the content, this is the these are topics we are going to discuss these 4 days. And today we are going to discuss the introduction to IoT, followed by the applications of IoT, and some intro about the Raspberry Pi. So we are going to jump into the topic, today's topic, introduction to IoT. Here, what is an IoT? Generally, the term which comes from when the RFID introduced to the world. From that point, the IoT become as a popular. Infrared. When we invent or like scientists are invented RFIDs, from the point, the IoT, the word will be is become into popular. So what is an IoT? Internet of Things. It is a thing or a physical object. Both. Internet of Things is a network of physical objects or things embedded with electronics, software, sensors, and network connectivity. So whatever the things, whatever the objects, physical objects, which are embedded into electronics, maybe embedded into a chip, it may be embedded into processor, it may be embedded into whatever the home appliance we're using, whatever the central locking system which are used in a automobile industry. Okay, these are the electronics, some kind of electronics, which these electrons consisting of some kind of embedded program. So there we are using this type of IoT concepts. So here we are defining the IoT is a network of these or things which are embedded electronics, software, sensors, and network connectivity, which enables these objects collect data as well as exchanging data. One second. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So, so if at all I want to uh, create and establish an IoT, Internet of Things in a agriculture field, so we have to put in a sensors at the fields of agriculture fields. So there we are using some set of sensors that depends upon their category. Let's say if at all I want to check whether the irrigation system is working or not. So we have to use the humidity levels. So we have to put an humidity sensor. If at all we have to protect the crop system, so we have to use the crop protection system sensors, like we can sense the distance by using of ultrasonic sensors. So ultrasonic sensors which send the signals to continuously when we reach some object, it sends and it gives the distance object between the sensor and the object. So by using of that kinds of sensor, we can write a set of instructions. So we can identify there will be an insect or any other thing which is entered into your crop. So this is the way we are going to implement some kind of IoTs in agriculture fields. So there are number of fields there are number of areas we can apply these IoTs. So the basic definition of the IoT, it's nothing but it's a network of physical objects or things which can be embedded electronics and software, sensors, and network connectivity, which can be collect the data by using of sensors, and also which can exchange the data and which can even though it triggers some kind of events to actuators. Let's say if at all I'm taking a cooling system in a what like a thermal plant. Let's say thermal plant, what happened in thermal plant? They will produce the power with the help of coal. The coal will be burned, it generates some thermal levels. So the thermal level, whatever the level we have by using a water boiling, we have set of boilers. So boilers having some kind of condition after the reaching that levels of whatever the levels of a temperature in a boiler level, the boiler will be or like it can be collapsed. So we are setting some kind of sensors in a boilers of our thermal plants. They can sense the temperature at thermal plants and sense it gives the system. The system will be justify whether the what like a temperature of boiler is in a lower level or higher level, a threshold below threshold or above threshold. If reaches the threshold level, it gives an signals to the actuator. The actuators will be given a cooling system. So what happened? The boiler will be temperature will be comes down. So this is the way we are using the sensors, actuators. In between, whatever the sensors or the actuator, in between we are using IoT processing concept. So IoT maybe an electronics embedded device, maybe a software embedded device, maybe it is a consisting of sensors and actuators. Okay, so this is the main basic definition of IoT. Next, the history of IoT. IoT, the concept of Internet of Things, become a popular in 1990s through Auto ID Center at MIT. Here only, the RFID introduced by MIT professors, they are exhibited the RFID. They are given one name. They are published a new name that is called Internet of Things. So the RFID, which is introduced at Auto ID Center, there they are identified. They are giving one. They changed a name that is called Internet of Things. So it is popular from 1999. This is the history of the IoT. And the next is how the IoT works. Actually, there are different levels of fields, the IoT application which can be run. So already we know we have to integrate a set of sensors, actuators, servers, okay, but like communication systems, these are integrated as a part of IoT applications. So here see, we have a set of fields like this. This is first field, and second one, a third one, fourth one, like that. These are a set of fields in an IoT application. Here see, this is the ground level. This is the actual field level. Here we are putting some kind of sensors, IoT sensor. By using of the sensor, we are capturing the data, we are getting the data, we are collecting the data. It may be it may be any kind of sensor. It may be ultrasonic sensor. It may be any IPR sensors, any kind of sensors, as water level sensors, pressure level sensors. This we have set of sensors. So we are collecting the data by using of the IoT sensors at ground at field levels, and with these collection data, which is sent to your server, whatever the processing concept we have. Here we are using Python program to process. So here, this is actual server which is located into your data center. So in between, we have a set of components. Okay, how these are connected? See, whatever the collected data, which is sent to your server with the help of these carriers. See, here we have wireless connectors. So if at all you want to deploy one kind of IoT or like a irrigation system management IoT in your agriculture fields, so we have to put a sensor at your or like a irrigation level, irrigation or like culverts. So there we have putting, we are deploying one sensor. This sensor sends the data continuously to the server. How it sends? We have to deploy one access point here. Whatever the access point, it may be used one or like any third party telecommunication or any ISP internet service providers. We are putting a one Wi-Fi module. This Wi-Fi modem which get the information from the sensors, and it redirects through this carrier, whatever the carrier. If at all I'm using backbone carrier like a BSNL, we can use. If at all we have any private ISPs, internet service providers, we can use. So like this, it may be a telecom, LTE, or a Wi-Fi. So we are sending to your server, whatever the servers we are deploying your application through one kind of a server. This is a dedicated server to your IoT application, that is MQTT server. That is a message queuing telemetry transport servers. So what happened? It sent the messages as a queue manner to yours whatever your application, whatever the decision system you're using. Let's say if at all let's say if at all I want to switch on off your motor at your agriculture field. So we have some kind of sensors. So this, it sends a signal. So we are sending a simple SMS off to your sensor, whatever the sensor which is deployed in your agriculture field. So immediately what happened? It can be switch off your motor by using of relay model which can be used in your IoT model. So this is the way the IoT works. This is the way, this is the model the IO will be work with the integrated of some sensors, actuators, whatever the access points, whatever the technology we have, Bluetooth, Zigbee, UWB, like this. These are some kind of technologies which are used. So these are the actual impact monitors. It may be mobile, it may be a wearable device, a smartwatch, it may be a desktop, it may be any personal device, gadget. Okay, this is the way we are going to establish an IoT applications, IoT ecosystem to or like to to uh, to execute the workflow of your business. The next IoT structure. IoT structure consisting of four things. The things are categorized into feeling things, shrinking things, and thinking things, and tagging things. Feeling things, senses, whatever the sensors we have, feel. So let's say, for example, if at all we are finding that there is a dry or wet, by using a what? We have a sensor. Okay, by using a sensor, we are finding the humidity. Humidity will be justify whether it's a dry or wet. So the kind of sensors falls into feeling things. Sensors, activators, wireless sensors, networks, and Bluetooth, NFCs, and Zigbees. These are belongs to feeling things. So it identifies the feelings and sends the signals. Shrinking things is nanotechnology. Nanotechnology like accelerators. Okay, we are using accelerator sensors and what like uh, we can find the what like if at all we are traveling one car, if at all we are using one kind of IoT, whether the car is in a proper way or not. If it is, if it is like it takes any accident, so what happened, it will be flipped out, right? What happened, how can we find whether the car is flipped or not? We have a sensor that is called what an accelerometer, and that accelerometer will be justifies whether what are the rotate it takes. If it is zero rotated, it does not gives any signal. If it is takes other than 0 degrees, let's say 45 degrees above, what happened, it sends a signal. So the car is flipped, the vehicle is flipped. So this is the indication by using our thinking things and thinking things which are using artificial intelligence and machine learning. So it takes a decision system. It involves in a decision system which can be thinking same as a human mindsets. So these things which thinking things are which are justified, which are used to design a decision making systems. And the last fourth one is the tagging things. The tagging things are which are used the barcodes, RFIDs, EPFs. So if at all I have a RFID, so what happened when we are scanning the RFID, it's going to get the information. So this is tags. Whenever we are using, let's say nowadays, the government also having the RFID mechanisms, tagging mechanisms. We can use. We can also give the or like a geo tagging when we are using the or like a registration offices. And in somewhere in Telangana, they're adapted RFID tags to animals also. In especially in the agriculture department, they are using tagging to the animals also for insurance purpose. Telangana government has introduced new thing. Okay, this is the way. This is the categories of things which are used in a IoT development. And the next is the architecture. There are 4 stages of architecture for IoT. We can same whatever the things we are learning how the work is flow on IoT device. It can be categorized in four stages. The first stage is sensor and activator. The second stage is internet gateway and data activation systems. And the third stage is edge IT and edge computing. And the fourth stage is data centers and clouds. So whatever the ground level, whatever the field level, we are getting the data, we are collecting the data that can be stored in your cloud, that can be stored in a data center. So in between the whatever the sensors, its first stage, whatever the clouds or data center which are at stage 4, in between we have 2 stages, 2 intermediate stages. What are there? Internet gateways, whatever the gateways, whatever the network to network connection is internet, right? So how these gateways are works? Okay, it may be a connection oriented, whatever. And the next third stage is edge IT. Edge IT is which is analytics, data analytics. While we are storing the data, it's going to be make a decision whether it may be a valuable data or whether it's actual data or not. So by using of analytics or pre-processing concepts, we are justifying before storing the data in data centers and cloud. So this is the 4 stage architecture which we are following when we are designing, when we are deploying IoT application in real world. Next, what are the applications of IoT? Generally, in anywhere, there is no way to say this is not application of IoT. Anything it can be adapted by IoT. So, if at all, let's say the first example, first application, buildings and home automation. So first and foremost thing, they are introduced, especially they focused only 2 areas. One is home appliance and second one is automobile industry. At the starting level of IoT. Nowadays IoT can be implemented in anywhere. There is no restriction to deploy the IoT. It can be deployed in an education system. It can be deployed in politics. It is also deployed in the education system. It may be also deployed in a or like a, in IT industry, it may be healthcare industry. So in number of industries are adapted to IoTs. So that's why we are calling industry 4.0. What happened we have a categories of industries. So the latest industry version is 4.0. In the 4.0 they are working only based upon IoTs, wireless communication networks. So how we are using applying these IoTs in our buildings and home automations. See, if at all we are using any security cameras, Okay, we are using some IP cameras, right? So if at all we are deploying IP cameras in your home, we can watch our premises, home premises every minute over internet. So what happened? The data is collected by using of IP camera. It sends the data over internet to your mobile. In your mobile, you have an interface application. We can log into interface application. We can directly access your security camera. I mean IP camera. We can rotate the camera also. We can we can control a number of controls we can use by using of IP cameras. So the best example of IO application in home automation. We can also, let's say for example, if at all you are taking AC systems, Lloyd is giving the AC system, right? So they are giving an ad, right? We can on the ACs outside of your home also. Okay, while you are traveling the car, let's say for example I'm reaching to the home after within a 10 minutes, so I want to enter in my home with a what like a pleasant situation. So while we are entering this home, just I'm sending a signal through my mobile to my AC, just on. So when we are entering the home, we can sense the what like AC levels. So this is the way we are going to deploy the IoTs in a home appliance also. We have plenty of home appliances which are used nowadays. When we are clapping in your home, the lights will be on. When even we have a Google Assistants, we can say words. Please can open Windows, then it automatically opens by using a voice recognition system. So what happened? The voice is recognized by one IoT, that is a sensor. It is converted into your action. What are the action? Open Windows, open left side window. That's all. It can be directly open the windows. Okay, switch on your light, hall light. That's all. It can be switch on to your your hall light. So these kind of things, these kind of appliances which are recently currently we are using in home appliances. Okay, this is the first application of your IoT, the building and home automation. And the manufacturing industry, already we said na, we have an category of industries. We have an industry 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0. So IoT is deployed in industry also, manufacturing industry also. Let's say if at all I'm taking cement industry. So what happened? The cement production will not be involved by the human, but because it's consisting of what like dangerous chemical, harmful chemicals. So there we're using some kind of at first level of industry 1.0. They're using steams and what like uh, uh, automatic machines. The mechanisms are steam power. Okay, so let's say for example, if at all I'm taking a cement factory only. Okay, they're in first 1.0 they are using the technology. Next, in the second level they're using what the mass power assembling lines and electric energy. So by using of electric energy, they are using some kind of mechanisms. They can use rotators. They can use hydraulic machines by in a chemical industry. That is 2.0. And when coming to the industry 3.0, what happened? Cyber physical system, internet, sorry, automation and computer electronics. Through computers, they can access, they can control the manufacturing of your cement and cement factories. That is called industry 3.0. In industry 4.0 they are introduced wireless mechanism, that is called internet of things and network cyber physical systems. So by using of internet sensing levels, each and every in machinery, each and every component in your industry, it can be communicated by using of IoT, wireless communication only. So whatever the signal they are sending, they can access, and it executes their job. That's all. This is called industry 4.0. Nowadays we are enjoying whatever the flexibilities in we have that by using of industry 4.0 mechanisms with the help of IoT only. And one more thing, with the combination of these two, we have a data preservation. There we are using cloud. The combination of cloud and IoT is called CIoT. We can also call COT, cloud Internet of Things, Cloud of Things. Okay, like that. So the Industry 4, which is gives have very flexibility in your manufacturing mechanisms. And the next is media. Uh, Earlier 1990s, we don't have this much of media. Just purely we depends on the televisions only. Whatever the news we have to know about the information, we should watch the TV or we should listen the what like broadcasting system like a telecasting system like radios and FMS only. At earliest 1990s, earliest 2000, what happened? It's going to be changed. The internet will be taken a revolution, which can send the whatever the information. It's a fraction of seconds. In earlier 1990s, we have a live stream also. We have, if at all you want to watch the cricket, we should tune the a particular television only. Let's say DD, Doordarshan, or whatever the any other private TV networks only. So what happened nowadays? We can watch the live cricket in any website, in any application. We have a plenty ways we can watch the live stream. Yes or no? So this is a revolution which is taken by the IoT with using it in the fields of media. So we have a whatever the world most top MNCs which are belongs to media only, like a Facebook, Twitter, Google. Okay, these are the top MNC companies belongs to media. With the help of, they are doing their business with the help of IoT only. And what are the challenging issues of IoT? See, any technology, it becomes a popular, there will be a challenges. There will be a set of challenges. Even IoT also has a set of challenges. What are they? The IoT will inherit the drawbacks of the current internet on a infrequently large but more invisible scale. So what are the main drawbacks? Main not drawbacks, actually, what are the issues? Main challenging issues. So we can provide the solution for a particular challenging issue. Okay, privacy. When we use the media, let's say for example, if at all we are using social media, okay, if at all we are what like configuring your account, if at all we are setting our account what like perfectly, what happened? There is no what like uh, what like but there is no what like problem with the privacy. So if at all we are not setting the properly your account profile and account information, there will be privacy there is a problem in the privacy concept. So that depends upon your what like end user capabilities. Okay, the privacy will be huge issue when we implementing the IoT. Let's say if at all we are implementing one kind of IoT, let's say for example cropping system. Let's say taking crop protection system. We are setting the what like sensors around your crop. Okay, if the it senses any obstacles enters into your field, it can generate an event to your crop side fencing and electricity. Let's say for example electricity, it provides the electricity. Then what happened when the animal enters into trying to enters into crop, what happened? It generates at the time power, right? A current. So what happened? It gets some kind of power electricity shock to the particular animal. Let's say if at all I'm taking any human being enters, what happened? It is also same do like that. Why? Because the mechanism is what it senses the obstacles. If the obstacles nearby entered into field, it generates signal, right? It generates signal to your actuator. What happened? It ons your power to your fencing. So what happened? The fencing consisting of power. Now it will be shocked to the any animal or any human being which are entered into field. The thing is, we have to design a solution. We have to decide what kind of obstacles which is entered, whether it is an animal, any insect, any human being. So we have to write a solution in a proper manner. So that is concept. That is a concept. So we have some kind of issues. Any IoT application, this kind of issues. So we have to design an efficient, perfect solution. So next, identity, online fragmentation identity. We cannot identify, right? Let's say, for example, if it is physically, we can identify, we can check all the things, right? But online, what happened? We are deciding only the two or more attributes only. So if the attributes is true, then we are giving a permission to can access the data. So there is a problem, identity problem. And then efficiency and speed. How efficient it is, how efficiently it use the power. Okay, the main challenging issue nowadays is the efficiency, IoT efficiency. Let's say, for example, if at all we are deploying the IoT in the field, what happened? We should give the power, right, to run the sensors. We should give the 5 volt, at least 5 volts, continuously 5 volts, right? How many days it runs 5 volts voltage a battery to a sensor? Maybe 2 days, 3 days. Whatever the after 3 days, we have to replace, right? There's a set of this kind of issues which are belongs to IoT. This kind of things are challenging issues belongs to IoT. And the decision, already said now, do not delegate too much our decision making and freedom choice things of machines. Okay, we should not depend purely, does not depend on the decision of your IoT, whatever the things we have, whatever the machines we have. Okay, because they don't have sense other than that sense. Let's say, for example, the human mindset consisting of, let's say, six sense, right? So if at all the machine having only two sense, what happened? The whatever the remaining sense. So other than these two, any senses happens, it cannot recognize. So that's the problem with the decision making of IoT. So we can use properly based upon our requirement. Okay, we have to design in that way the balancing, how the work balancing, how the networking balancing. There's a main challenging issue nowadays in a IoT. Next, this is about the application. Sorry, this is about the challenging issues. And one more thing, whatever the application we learned, only three: the home appliances, manufacturing industry, and media. We have plenty of applications. We can apply in the railways. We can apply in airlines. We can apply in any industry, textile industry. We can apply sports also. We can apply in agriculture field also. We can apply in a what like marketing also. We can apply anywhere. There is no restriction to apply the IoT. We can. Okay, so we are applying in a space also. We are using ISRO and NASA also using IoT concepts. So these are the applications and these are the challenging issues belongs to IoT. And the next is our main topic is Raspberry Pi. So what is the Raspberry Pi? How we are using Raspberry Pi? We are going to know. So introduction to Raspberry Pi. So what is Raspberry Pi? A Raspberry Pi, generally, a Raspberry Pi nothing but is a computer. That's all. It's a small credit card size computer. That's all. Whatever the computer done, it can be done. That's all. Nothing else. But the thing is, it can be introduced for only for learning component as a learning component in a UK. So in academic purpose, the students are not there to purchase desktop laptops at learning level. So the Raspberry Pi Foundation introduced one concept, that is Raspberry Pi component. They are giving the low price computer. They are giving low price computer for an learning and an education only, for student education only. So what happened when is introduced? They are using in a learning process in a university or school levels. So at that time they are recognized. These kind of tiny computers can be deployed anywhere. So what happened? It can be decrease the cost of product. It can be decrease the cost of project also. Let's say, just imagine when we are deploying, when we are using this computer in a education system. So why don't we use in a business? So they are introduced in business also. So at the earlier, the Raspberry Pi used only for education purpose, for student learning process. Let's say I don't have that much money to purchase a laptop or a desktop. So by spending of 3,000, 4,000, I'm getting the Raspberry Pi. Then I'm deploying to the connecting to the monitor. I'm executing my own program. So especially learning process, the program learning process, correct? There you introduce the Raspberry Pi. So later what happened, some kind of issues, some kind of solution they are designing, IoT based design. So it comes into business also. So it comes into market, general market also. So earlier, and the first and foremost thing, it used for education only. So it is developed by Raspberry Pi Foundation in association with the Broadcom. Broadcom. Broadcom is an organization. So Broadcom is an organization which produces only the processors. So the collaboration with the Raspberry Pi and Broadcom, which is designed a Raspberry Pi in February 2012. So it is a low cost and critical size computer which can carry from anywhere. We can portable from anywhere, one place to another place very easily, and plug in to a monitor or use a keyboard and mouse. So what happened? It can create an environment like a computer, a laptop. It's an equivalent to computer, it is equivalent to laptop. And it is a capable to explore the computing and learning how to program, especially for the student, a student community. And it is a series of small, a single board computer bundled with onboard Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, USB boot capability, and GPIO, general purpose input output. So it's a single board computer which is bundled with the Wi-Fi inbuilt. It has a Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and a USB connector. Different USB-C type connector also there, especially in the recent Raspberry Pi 4 version, and the GPIO, general purpose input output. We have connections, 40 pin GPIO. There is a 40 pin GPIO in a Raspberry Pi. This is about the Raspberry Pi. A Raspberry Pi is nothing but it's the same Arduino, whatever the Arduino we are using. But the thing is, Arduino, what happened? It can be plugged into one editor, that is Arduino Studio. Yes, sir. It can be run and execute, but does not have an OS. But Raspberry Pi has OS, so it can be run. It's a Linux-based OS. So nowadays, Windows also having IoT OS, that is Windows Core IoT. Windows also introduced the same IoT OS. It can be run your Raspberry Pi also. So all the OS distributors having their own IoT operating systems. Okay, it's a tiny operating system. It can be deployed. It can be installed in your Raspberry Pi. Okay, so it's a small size credit card sized computer. Which the main objective of this invention of the Raspberry Pi is to learn the programming of student community with a low cost computer instead of desktops and laptops. Okay, but nowadays we can use these Raspberry Pis in a real-time business also. And the next is, this is a Raspberry Pi picture. This is Raspberry Pi 3. It's a 3. We have Raspberry Pi 0 version, 1, 2, and 4 also nowadays. So there is some kind of changes, 1 to 4. Okay. See here, we have the Raspberry Pi like this. See, in this Raspberry Pi, the most important component is the CPU, processor, memory. It is a Broadcom chip, which is consisting of processor and GPU, graphical processing unit, and the memory. The three things are integrated in this single chip. This is designed by Broadcom, and it has pins, 40 pins, that is GPIO pins, general purpose input output pins, and it has Bluetooth and Wi-Fi here, inbuilt Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. Let's say if at all you have a Raspberry Pi, you can connect the camera, you can directly connect the Wi-Fi, you can deploy in your home also. No need to purchase the camera or like DVR systems. Okay, by using a 3,000 to 4,000 rupees of Raspberry Pi, we can direct deploy. We can connect how many cameras you want, you can. Okay. And the next is DSI display port. It's going to be display the things. And this is a micro USB for power input. It takes some power, right? That is 2.5 amps power. It takes an input as a power. This is HDMI connector, which is connect to your monitor to display the OS. And it has the connection of camera port. This is a camera serial interface, CSI. And also it has audio video connector, and it also Ethernet connector, that is network connection. It can connect to any system, any network. Okay, it is same as a laptop or a desktop. Okay. Even desktop also having the Ethernet connection, the same way. And we have 4 USB 2 types of ports. This is a Raspberry Pi 3 version. If it is a 4, what happened? Here 2 USB ports are 3.0 USB 3.0 versions, and 2 belongs to 2.0 versions. USB 2.0, USB 3.0. That will be changed between the Raspberry Pi 3 and 4. Okay, this is the diagram. Component. I will show the physically, no problem. See, is this visible? Is this visible?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
See, I will. This is the case. I think it is a case of your Raspberry Pi. Yeah, this is the same. Whatever the diagram we have, this like this. So here, see, this is our Ethernet LAN connector, and these are the 4 USB connectors, and this is the audio video connector, and we can plug in the audio video. And we have here, this is this one is a camera connector, CSI camera serial interfacing connector, and this is the HDMI connector to display, to connect to the monitor or a projector. And this is the power input of 2.0, the same as mobile, like micro USB. And we have 40 pins. These are GPIO pins, and this is the Wi-Fi and Wi-Fi Bluetooth component, and this is the processor and the CPU, GPU, memory. These are integrated process. Integrated. These things are available in this only. And the back side, we have one slot. This slot is called the memory slot. So whatever the OS that can be installed in this SD card. In this SD card, we are installing the Raspberry Pi OS. Okay, we have a plenty of operating systems to run a Raspberry Pi. After installation of this Raspberry Pi in this SD card, we can insert this into the Raspberry Pi, and we can use this Raspberry Pi further by connecting these components. Let's say if at all you want to connect the network, you can use this. If at all you want to connect the keyboard and mouse, you can connect to this. If at all you want to connect any sensors, any activators, we can connect this GPIO. Any wireless communications, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, we can connect by using of operating system. If at all you want to connect any audio to this, if at all you want to connect any monitors or a projector, you can connect to this HDMI, and this is the input power of your Raspberry Pi. So this is the case, and this is the board of Raspberry Pi, and we can insert into this. It's a protected case. It's a protected case. We can. This is our Raspberry Pi with a case, a secure case, and also we we can have the glass cases also like this. Transparent cases. These are the transparent. This is also Raspberry Pi 3. You can find the names here. What type of Raspberry Pi is Raspberry Pi 3? Raspberry Pi 3 Model B. This is Model B. This is also Model B. This is also Model B plus. This is Model B plus. This is Model 1. Model B. This is Model B plus. Okay. This is about Raspberry Pi. And the next, what are the capabilities of Raspberry Pi? See, already we know the Raspberry Pi. First and foremost, is introduced for only for education industry. I mean, education at the education level to learn the programming languages of student community, especially the student community, which those are not affordable to laptop. Those are not able to purchase the laptops and desktop. They can use these Raspberry Pis with the lowest cost. So there, what are the capabilities? What are the things can be done by using of Raspberry Pi? The first thing, we can browse in internet and we can play the SD videos. So it has a capability to connect internet by using of wire or wireless. If it is wire, you can connect by using of Ethernet connector. If it is wireless, it has an inbuilt Wi-Fi and Bluetooth also. So we can connect the internet, we can browse the internet, and we can display on the monitor also. And making spreadsheet and word processing. Why? Because we have an inbuilt OS, the Linux based OS. Linux by default consisting of all the programming language softwares as well as spreadsheet and word processing sheets also. So open office, it has an open office. So we can use Excel like spreadsheets, and we can process the word processing like to create a document. And we can also play the games. We can we have some kind of a additional component of on this Raspberry Pi. We have a hat. Okay, hardware at the top. We have a hat. In that we have a additional component. We can put the additional component above of the Raspberry Pi. That hat component consisting of joystick, inbuilt joystick, inbuilt LEDs. Okay, 8x8 matrix LEDs, 8x8, 64 LEDs are there, and we have a joystick also, and we have accelerator sensors also. So that kind of additional component, humidity sensor also. So additional component apart from this Raspberry Pi, we can integrate that hat component to the this GPIO pins. So what happened? That hat will be gives the information to Raspberry Pi. Raspberry Pi will process. Okay, we can play by using of joystick. Joystick is a component which can be rotate your game's directions. Next, infrared camera and security systems. Directly we can connect the spy camera serial camera serial interfacing. Directly we can connect the infrared, and music machines and detectors for weather. Okay, the humidity levels, humidity sensors will be get the weather details. Based upon the humidity, we can identify what the temperature right now. Okay, this is the capability of your Raspberry Pi. And the next is specifications. See, it has only Raspberry Pi 0, 2, 3 only. We have 4 also. Okay, so what is 3? See, you have, if at all we are observed, based upon RAM, the storage, based upon the processing, central processing unit, based upon the graphical representation, based upon network access, based upon wireless network access, based upon video output, based upon pins GPIO. So the difference, well, we are going to learn about the Raspberry Pi 0. So Raspberry Pi 0 consisting of 512 MB SDRAM. It has 512 MB SDRAM. It supports up to 512 MB memory to process the data. And the next is we have CPU, ARM CPU, which consisting of 1 gigahertz processor. And the next graphical, it supports 250 megahertz video core 4. And it does not Ethernet, it does not wireless. In earlier, the version 0, Raspberry Pi 0 does not consisting of Ethernet connection, does not consisting of wireless. So there is no Wi-Fi connection, there is no Ethernet like this. There is no Ethernet connection like this, and there is no integrated Wi-Fi in a Raspberry Pi 0. Raspberry Pi 2. A 2 consisting of RAM, 1 GB SD RAM, and quad Cortex 900 megahertz processor, and 250 megahertz video core, the same. Video core is same, and we have 10 by 100 Ethernet, and there is no wireless, there is no Wi-Fi in a Raspberry Pi 2. Okay, we have video output HDMI, and there are 40 pins, GPIO pins 40 everywhere in every Raspberry Pi. And the Raspberry Pi 3. This is Raspberry Pi 3B version, and this is Raspberry Pi 3B plus version. Okay. So it has 1 GB SD RAM, 1 GB data, and quad Cortex 1.2 gigahertz, 1.2 gigahertz, 900 MB will become as 1.2 gigahertz. The speed will be increased, and 400 megahertz video core, and 100 by 10 by 100 Ethernet same, and it has a Wi-Fi, that is wireless communication, and it has a Bluetooth inbuilt, the HDMI, and 40 GPIO pins. And we have Raspberry Pi 4 also, 4 consisting of same USB connections, but the difference is there is a USB 3.0 connections also. Okay, right? This is the categories of Raspberry Pis which is available in the market. Next, setup, basic setup Raspberry Pi. How can we set up? So what are the basic requirements when we have to implement IoTs with the using of Raspberry Pi? So the basic requirement is, first is HDMI cable. You know HDMI cable, right? If at all your monitor is VGA connector, you can use the connector, like a converter, by using by like this. If it is your monitor is VGA connector, so VGA converter, so it can be converted as HDMI. So we can insert the monitors cable to this VGA insert here, and insert these to Raspberry Pi. So what is it? If it is HDMI converter you have in your monitor projector, no problem. If it is VGA, you have to use this converter. And the next is a monitor or a laptop or a projector, whatever. Next we have to one keyboard, one more mouse to access your Raspberry Pi, and we have 5 volts power adapter like this. This is part of micro adapter like this. It has like this, like our mobile charger, not C type charger. This is normal charger. So micro charger. Okay, and we should have a LAN cable if at all we want to connect to network or a laptop on other system. And we should have the 2 GB or above micro SD card, preferably 16 GB. Why? Because the Raspberry Pi OS consisting of 4 GB memory. The OS, entire OS is in terms of 4 GB data. So we should have the above 4. This is the requirement for noobs, okay, which has below 2 GB. That's why I'm saying 2 GB. If at all you want to install Raspbian OS, okay, additional latest OS, that should be in terms of it has a 4 GB, nearby 4 GB, not the 4 GB. So we should maintain the 16 GB memory like this. We have a memory card, right? Class C type is preferable. Class C, we have a class A, class B, class C in SD memory cards. The class C high-end memory chip, it has flexible and the fastest accessible concept. Class C. So class C is preferable when we are purchasing SDRAM. You should preferably purchase class C SDRAM SD cards. And this is the way we are going to connect. Okay, this is the connection towards the laptop with using of LAN. Okay, not the HDMI cable. See here, we are connecting our micro SD card, which is consisting of OS, and we are inserting the bottom of your Raspberry Pi. If it is a Raspberry Pi, we have to insert the bottom into the bottom, and we have a 2.4 amps and 5 voltage DC power. Okay, micro USB, and we have an Ethernet connector, so we should connect to the laptop or a monitor. We can directly connect the switch, and we can connect the mouse and keyboard by using a USB. This is connect towards LAN network. If it is to monitor, okay, we should use HDMI. There's nothing else. Yeah, this is the way we are going to connect. This is a micro USB power. This is HDMI, which is connected to your monitor. These are the two USB connector, mouse and keyboard. And we are inserting 16 GB micro SD card to back up your Raspberry Pi. We're inserting in this way. And how can we set up a Raspberry Pi? And this hands-on session will be on day after tomorrow. I will explain the practically how can we download, how can we write OS in a SD card, and how can we deploy, how can we insert this SD card into Raspberry Pi, how can we connect these things will be discussed in the day after tomorrow as an hands-on session. So before installing the Raspberry Pi OS, Raspbian OS into this SD card, we should format this SD card. So this SD card can be formatted by using of Windows operating system, but we should use one software that is SD card formatter. It can be format and the entire data. It can not be maintain any data, any bit of data. So we should use one software that is SDRAM, SD card formatter. We can download by using a www.sdcard.org/download/formatter. You can download, and you can format by using of that software. So we can insert this into USB. USB connector. It's like I will show. Oh, okay, we will learn in practically, and then we should download one Windows 32 disk manager. A disk manager is which is used to write your OS into SD card. There's a software. Next, we have to download the Raspberry Pi OS. These are the 3 softwares required to set up your Raspberry Pi with your system. Okay, first one is SD card formatter. Second one is Windows 32 disk manager, and the third one is Raspberry Pi OS. A Raspberry Pi OS, we have plenty Raspberry Pi OS. We can download anyone, but preferably Raspbian or noobs. Okay. So how can we install this OS in SD card? We have a software right now. First, after formatting your downloading OS and all the softwares, we have to format the SD card with the SD card formatter. Followed by we have to write that OS into the formatted SD card by following these steps. First, we have to install Windows 32 Disk Manager. Okay. Next, we have to run Windows 32 Disk Manager. This is the Windows 32 Disk Manager. Okay, plug in SD card to the PC and select the image, whatever the image you are downloading of your Raspbian. Again, select and write your date file into your SD card. So directly it writes the data into your memory card, SD memory card. So after successful writing, eject that SD card and insert into Raspberry Pi. Okay, this is the setup of Raspberry Pi. Okay, so we have learned today, we have gone through the topics, introduction, one second, introduction to IoT and applications of IoT, and introduction to Raspberry Pi, and the basic setup of Raspberry Pi. And the next, we should demonstrate some kind of projects. We should deploy some kind of projects in the Raspberry Pi with the help of a programming language, that is Python programming language. So we have to learn the Python programming language before starting your implementation, IoT implementation. Without a software coding, we cannot implement any IoT applications. So we should learn the programming language, the basic program. No, I'm not going to deliver the entire Python programming. Just I'm going to deliver what is the Python programming, how we can write, what is the structure of the programming, how can we write a statements, whether it is sequential, conditional, or iteratable, how can write a functions, and how can we execute the Python application. Okay, these are the concepts we are going to learn. So before entering the Python program, how can we install the Python program first? And before that, when we have a Raspberry Pi, it's very easy to install the Python. Why? Because Raspberry Pi is a Linux based operating system. So we can directly use one command sudo apt get install the Python, directly to install the Python. And we can write the Python code in an editor of Raspberry Pi. We can run the Raspberry Pi. Okay. So now, in Windows, how can we install the Python? How can we write a small code of Python? We will discuss right now. Then tomorrow we will go to discuss the entire Python program, which is used in Raspberry Pi application, not entire Python application, not entire Python modules. Just we are focusing only those things which are needed in a IoT design with the using of Raspberry Pi. Yes, sir. Okay. Next, how can we install? Okay.
Sir, I have a doubt regarding this.
Yeah.
Like installing Raspberry Pi in a PC, we require PC, right?
No, we are not going to install the Raspberry Pi in PC. We are
Okay.
going to install
SD card.
SD card.
Yeah.
Because this component consisting of a memory in terms of an SD card only, not the operating, not the laptop.
Okay. But monitors, we require monitor, right?
Yeah. So what happened? The Raspberry Pi acts as a system. That's all. It's a computer. That's why we are connecting the monitor to this.
Okay. Like it isn't. I thought that like it will be acting as a PC. We won't be we won't having help of monitor.
We are not using our PC or desktop while we are using Raspberry Pi. That's all.
What we are doing with the Raspberry Pi, it will be showing showing on cell mobile or anything. I have a confusion with that monitor or it is in starting you have mentioned it work as a PC.
Yes.
Raspberry Pi is work as a PC. So regarding that, I have a doubt whether we won't be require PC or it is an like a small thing. How can it will be a visualize?
It has a processor, na? The Raspberry Pi has a processor memory, so it can directly process your data and projects into your monitor or a projector. That's all.
If we buy Raspberry Pi in a market, how much it costs, sir?
It will be 3,000 to 4,000, below 4,000.
Okay, but I don't have, sir, Raspberry Pi. Just for the knowledge sake, I'm asking you. Like it is very useful.
Questions always welcome. I will explain by hands-on session day after tomorrow. Last 2 days we'll be having a practical session on Raspberry Pi.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So now, how we are installing Python? Just we have to a basic knowledge. We should have a basic knowledge in Python. That's why I'm explaining about how we are installing Python, how we are doing some kind of basic program for Python. Then we are shifting into Raspberry Pi. Okay. We have python.org. It is the official website of Python. We can download the latest Python. Even we can Python the documentation of Python programming language and tutorial also. We can download the tutorial also. And also it can be provide the online Python terminal also like this. This is the online Python. Okay. If at all we are downloading, we have latest version Python 3.9.2. Okay, so we have the two basic versions of Python, that is the Python 2, Python 3. There is a syntactical differentiation between Python 2 and Python 3. That's all. The remaining will be same. The difference between Python 2 and Python 3, the syntactical representation, where we have some kind of parenthesis representation which is available in Python 2, and Python 3 does not have a parenthesis based representation while we're using if and while like that, and print. Okay, like we can download the Python. When we are clicking the Python, it can be download. After download, we can run the next. Okay, next you are going to get I will show how it is. Yeah, when we have search, in the search directly, you can use the command based. If at all you want to use the command based, you can use the command. In that command, just type it as Python, and you are entered into Python shell. Python interpreter will be executed. In this Python, you can type any Python program language. This is Python. I have version 3.7.4. The latest version is 3.9.2. Now we can write anything. It's a typeless programming language. We don't have any types, like unlike C and C++ and Java. In Java, C++, what happened? We are using types int a is equal to 10, string b is equals to Ranjit, like that, right now. So we can use like this directly. No need to specify the type, but internally it has a type. When we processing the data, it considers a type, but syntactically does not have a type. Okay, let's say what type it is. When we have an a is a type of integer. What is the type of b? Is a float. If at all I'm using C, with the type of C, what happened? The type of C is string. So internally it has a string, the type representation, while the processing data it considers a type representation, but syntactically we are not using any type. This is the interpreter, and we have one graphical like interpreter also, that is IDLE, the Python. It is a it's also command like interpreter, but is a colorful interpreter. One second, it is slow. Yeah, this is the IDLE, sorry, b is equal to 0.5, and the type of A type of B. Okay. And if at all you want to print some value, you can use print A. That's all. So after installation, we can use either command based or IDL based. We have n number of IDs, integrated development environments, integrated IDE, integrated development environment, which is integrated what like softwares, like it has an editor, it has a compiler interpreter, it has a database, it has what like any kind of representations of your programming. So all these things, all these softwares are integrated in a single software. That kind of software is called as IDEs. So we have n number of Python IDs currently available in the market. So let us see the list of IDs. We can search like this: Python IDs. Okay, these are the ideally, that is recently we have visited PyCharm, Spider, PyDev. This is Microsoft Visual Studio. This is flexible and excellent IDE. Industry which is used this IDE. In the autumn, and we have PyT Wing IDE, Tony IDE, like this. We have plenty, n number of IDEs, and the Spider is a frequently used and mostly used IDE is Spider. Later we have a Visual Studio. We can have the online also, online compiler, Python compiler also. This is IDE. So we have n number of, we have a plenty of IDEs. So most used IDE is Visual Studio. The latest is Spider. It's MIT based IDE. This is Microsoft based. So industry is used this, and academicians mostly use Spider or like Jupyter. We have a Jupyter also. Jupyter. These are the categories of types of IDEs which is available in the market. And the remaining programming, what the structure of the programming, Python programming language, how we are writing the instructions of Python program, we'll discuss in the next session. Shall I wind up? You have any questions? You have any question? Directly ask. No, no problem.